Hi, everyone. This is Rasheed. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Bridge. We're just going to give it another couple minutes here and let some additional attendees join, and we'll get started in just again in 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Again, this is Rasheed Hammouda. I'm the CEO and co-founder. I'll be hosting our product webinar this week. Should be a very brief 15-minute or so product webinar. I like to keep it short and high level for folks who are on the webinar. And of course, if you have additional questions or want to do a one-on-one demo, then please feel free to go to the site and schedule something with one of our other product experts. But we'll go ahead and dive in here. As we're going, you should see a QA ability or a chat ability to send in questions as we're going. Please feel free to do so. We'll answer everything towards the end. If there's specific questions that make sense as well while we're going through the product, then of course we'll be able to pause and address those items as well. So welcome again, everyone. Thank you for taking the time out today. We have on the screen share right now Atlas, our key flagship software for portfolio management, reporting, back office data management. Before we dive into some of the functionality here, some of the things to just cover at a high level are, of course, our data management capabilities happening behind the scenes. So everything behind the scenes is that core reconciliation data automation system, right? So we're taking data directly from financial institutions, TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, Fidelity, Pershing, SSG, Millennium Trust, so on and so forth. We're processing that data every day. We're then reconciling that. That is then what you are seeing here is the reconciled performance calculations for your client accounts. So that's all happening behind the scenes on a daily basis. What you're going to get then is, again, a dashboard that's ready to just take action on. If you're integrated into other systems, that data can flow into that as well. And it's all taken care of on an automated basis. So at a high level, we're just looking at the front dashboard page. So a new report that we actually have available just got launched last week is a firm-wide target versus actual. We'll come through and I'll talk about this in just a moment. But at high level here, all of these reports are just designed for you to get in, answer questions about your business, and get back out. And so we've continued to iterate on some of the functionality and the reporting that's available in the dashboard based off of our existing client feedback. And that's what you're seeing reflected here. So this firm-wide allocation report, we were just getting the feedback a lot. Hey, I love your target versus actual report on an individual client level. But before I even go into a full reporting or go into a full trading session, I'd love to be able to just log into my Bridge dashboard and see at a high level, are there any accounts that are in a model that are way out of variance? And then I can maybe dive in deeper and take action there. We're in a demo environment, so as you can see, things are pretty far out of variance. We'd expect it to be a little bit less for live data. But again, the goal is to just make it really easy for you to see what are my accounts that I have, what are any high level variances that I'm seeing on a percent and a dollar basis, and that being able to prompt action then that you can go and take in your trade environment, whether we're integrated with an advisor peak or a flyer or any other technologies that you might be using or directly at the custodian. Two super commonly used reports on the dashboard is, in addition to this new one that we've released, is firm-wide reporting and cash monitoring. So first, on the firm-wide reporting side of things, consider this your sort of generalist, answer any questions about your business. You can run a custom report if you want to answer a very specific question. So for example, working with an advisor a couple of weeks ago, they were asking me, hey, is there a way that I can go in and look at what are all the fee transactions that I did in 2020? Well, actually, you do have that ability. You could come in, you could select the transaction, so you can see all the data points that you can select on. You could select the time frame specific that you're looking for. So if we wanted to look at, say, year to date, right, we could go from January, and then we could go all the way to today very easily and hit generate. This will take some time to spin up, so we're pulling a lot of data, but then that transactions report, again, you'll be able to select any number of fields to filter on in terms of category, type of transaction, buy, sell. So you could come in and answer that question very easily. So again, designed to make it really fast, really easy to get more information about your business, answer questions, whether that's for internal purposes, whether it's for growth purposes, planning purposes, if you're working with an examiner, either a state or an SEC examiner, being able to generate reports and audit trails, things of that sort. Really sort of a Swiss Army knife tool here. Moving on to the cash monitoring side of things, another really commonly used report on the dashboard. You're going to be able to come in and automatically sort. I'm in a demo environment, so there's not a lot of changes on a day-to-day basis here. But if you had cash swings that you're seeing in your accounts because either a client deposited a lot of cash or they pulled a lot of cash out, you'd be able to see those, identify those accounts really quickly, and then prioritize that for action in your business. Could do the same thing if you've got cash with, an account with a high cash balance coming in, being able to identify those quickly, or a low cash balance, and then being able to take action accordingly. So getting a lot of use from the firms that we're working with out of these two widgets. Moving through the rest of the dashboard, a lot of these, they're movable, they're interactive, top holdings, billable assets. Again, none of the stuff that we're looking at today is going to be rocket science, and that's by design. We want to make it easy for you to get the answers to the questions that you might have, easy for you to get insight into your business. Security ownership, so being able to cross-reference, who all owns Apple in my business. Some revenue analytics as well. So based off of your quarter or month-to-month fees, being able to project out, hey, if the market took a dip, how is that going to change my estimated fees? If I grow my client base, set a target for myself, how is that going to change my estimated fees? Projecting that forward. And then final key point on the front dashboard to call out is a performance data dashboard. So really common use case for this is if you're doing a monthly or quarterly review, you could say come in and you wanted to look at all my clients that are invested into my 70-30 model. Do I have any outliers there for month-to-date returns? You could come in, you could filter down to that. You can say, hey, I've got, most of them are pretty flat, but I've got one for whatever reason that's down a point. Let me go and look at this account and dig deeper here. So again, a lot of high-level information, really user-friendly, very easy to get in, answer questions, and get back out. So I'm just going to go ahead and scroll back to the top and pull up the reporting side of things. So on the reporting side of things, one of the things while we're loading a web-based report that's important to call out here is our reporting environment is designed to be really, really easy for you to have client conversations and answer client questions, right? So you may be a CFP or a CFA, your clients probably aren't. And that's in many cases what they're paying you for. They're paying you for that expertise and for that trust. And so we understand that you may have a depth of knowledge that your clients don't. So we want to make sure that the reports are structured in a way that it makes it easy for you to have that client conversation, so your client doesn't get bogged down with really fine details that are potentially over their head, different things of that sort. My Zoom is slowing my internet down today, so we'll give us a second here while this loads. The other thing to call out on this page as well is that you're going to be able to see more or less the same way of displaying the information in the web-based report as is in the PDF report, as is in the client portal. And the reason that that was designed was to make it so that if your client was calling you about information in the client portal, then you would be able to know, hey, if my client's looking at an asset allocation report, that asset allocation report on the client portal looks more or less the same as the asset allocation report in my portal. I'm going to stop my share for a second here so my internet can finish loading this report on my side of things. And then while I'm doing that, I'll also bring up the client portal so you can see what some of that reporting looks like there. So on the client portal side of things, and again, it's going to be very much the same information, just filtered down to your client needs. So we can look at some of these high level reporting that are available. This would be the client view of the reporting environment that we were just having trouble loading on my internet today, but just looking at on the advisor side. So in that client portal view, you're going to see, again, high level net investment information, income information. The goal is to make it so that your client could log in and answer the vast majority of their questions that they're going to have. Hey, what income did I have today or in this existing period, so year to date? Oh, my current market value is $1 million across my whole household. Great. So again, really big numbers, making it easier for people to see, easy to understand, getting some high level summary information about accounts, performance as well. You could look at this performance on a net investment basis, so on a dollar amount or on a performance basis. If your client changes that time period, then this performance chart would change the time period as well. Asset allocation. So again, this is going to look very much the same if they're looking at an asset allocation report here versus an asset allocation report in the advisor view. And then also in the client portal, they're going to have access to PDF reports. They're going to have access to invoices, file sharing. And if you enable it, they're going to have access to held away accounts. Held away accounts are available. It's no additional marginal charge. It's just part of the overall package working with Bridge. And so they could add unlimited bank accounts, outside 401ks, 529 plans that may be managed elsewhere, things like that. You can add to that. There's no additional charge as part of the platform. So I'm going to pull up one of these more detailed reports as well in terms of the report that are available to you. So this is one of our PDF reports here. All of this would be white labeled for your firm, as would be the client portal itself, branded for your logo with your colors. You can set custom colors, really easy to do that. Getting high level information, again, robust information. This is just because it's easy for a client to understand doesn't mean that it's too little information or not enough transparency. You want to make it easy for you to have conversations and clear, and want it to be modern so that your firm is presented in the best way possible. So cumulative performance, again, net investments. None of this stuff is going to be rocket scientists for the folks on the webinar today. Asset allocation, again, looking very, very similar in terms of how the asset allocation is displayed here, as we displayed in a PDF report if you have it left behind or emailed to them. Appraisals, all of these asset allocations, asset classifications are customizable for your firm as well. And then some transaction level reports, so buys, sells, if there's income in the account, then representing that as well, where the income is coming from. Realized gain losses, so being a preview almost to a 1099, and then any custom disclosures that you need. And we of course have boilerplate disclosures as well that we can recommend if you don't have disclosures out of the box. So all of these reports are automatically generated for PDF every month or every quarter to your specification. It's part of the setup process. You don't have to take any additional action. Again, the goal is to make it really clear, concise, modern reports that are available to your clients, and they're available with really zero action on your part once you're set up and you're running on the system. So you're going to get that available to you on the client portal, and you're going to get that available to you on a PDF basis and on the advisor side of things as well. So I'm going to turn off my screen momentarily so I can switch over to the advisor side of things again. Just give me one moment, and then we will look also at the billing before we tie off for the day. While that's loading, some questions that I'm seeing come in to answer in terms of what does, just reading this now, what does the onboarding process look like? So great question. So in terms of the onboarding process, we work with over 250 advisory firms today. Those advisory firms include predominantly wealth managers, as low as a few million in assets under management just getting started, all the way up into the many billions in assets under management, firms that are at scale. So we have experience onboarding a variety of advisory firms. Typically, the process is pretty straightforward. you're just going to go ahead and submit a data feed form after you would sign off on the overall service agreement. And then using that data feed form, our team does all the heavy lifting behind the scenes. So we would contact the custodian on your behalf, make sure that that data feed form is getting processed correctly. And then from that data feed form, we would then initialize accounts on the back end so that when you log into the system, you just see the accounts, they're ready to go. And then as part of the onboarding process, you would have a kickoff call. You would go through the setup and configuration. If you're coming from a historical system, we would be able to add that information from the historical system in as part of the conversion process. And then you'd be off and running. So we're going to do a lot of the heavy lifting of the configuration, the data conversion, the initialization. It's really just engagement and time from you that we would need to make sure that it's set up to your requirements and your specifications. So I'm going to show a little bit on the billing side of things, and then I'll pause again for any other questions. So on the revenue and billing side of things, you can see some high level information, again, designed to make it easy for you to have attention drawn to where you need to take action. So in this case, the demo environment has a number of accounts without fee structures. Getting alerted to that, you can click on the fee structure side of things, and that's going to take you straight to those account assignment screens. Same thing on billing groups. A lot of the system is designed to be set it and forget it. So once you're set up as part of that onboarding process and we configure the billing environment for you, you're really just going to come in at the end of the month or the end of the quarter. You're going to hit run billing. You're going to get some alerts, right? So I mentioned that the accounts were without fee structures assigned. You're going to get some alerts so that you are prompted to add those. You could skip it if you want. Skip to the next screen. Assign billing groups for accounts that are not grouped. And then you're going to get a final reminder. Here are the things that you would need to review in case you want to make any changes. Otherwise, you hit continue. You'd select the period that you would want to run it for. So if you're running quarterly billing for end of March, you'd just select standard period, March. A lot of the firms that we work with today, typical process that we see is coming in 1 or 2 days actually before month end or before quarter end. And you would actually see sort of a sample view as a preview of what your billing would be. That way, also, if there's any accounts that have low cash or cash that need to be would need to be raised, you can make those trades ahead of the quarter end. And then after that, in terms of your ability to run it, when is the data reconciled? When is it ready? We want to get you paid as quickly as possible. And we want to make the process as fast as possible. About 25% of the firms that we work with today are processing fee billing the first business day after quarter end or month end. 50% of them are doing it, 2 to 4 business days after a month or quarter end, and then the rest are doing it thereafter. It's really up to you as a business owner and the preference that you have. The data will be reconciled and ready to bill on the first business day after month end. Firms that want to wait in case there are any dividends that might not have posted from the custodian, or are there any cash that maybe didn't settle, things of that sort, totally up to you. And we would help set up a process for you as part of the onboarding. So you would hit run billing. It's going to kick off a billing run in the background. And then I'll take a look here at one of the outputs would look like. So from the billing side of things, again, high level information, being able to see really an audit trail. So this is just some high level information on each individual account, but you can see here, there's a ton of information that's actually stored behind the scenes, and you could include this. So if you are doing a revenue share with a business partner, or you are hiring an associate advisor, being able to represent that, and a split payout, being able to see if it's directly billed, or in the cases where some particularly older clients may want to actually get an invoice that is a payable invoice rather than a statement of previous bills. Any start and end dates of the periods, things like this. And we actually take it a step further so that you can store this in the system and leave it there. So if you're ever having an examination or just a routine audit with your state or the national SEC examination, you have an actual calculation detail that you could point to that's going to show. A lot of this information is also going to be available on the invoice for firms that are state registered and have a requirement for invoices, or just prefer to share with their clients an invoice that's really, again, a statement of the fee. You're getting a ton of detail here in terms of how it's calculated, the way it's calculated, each individual account fee, what into that. If you have any splits that are affecting that billing group, this is just for your view on your side of things. Your clients wouldn't see this. If there are any minimums, group fees, things of that sort. So it's really a ton of detail here. You don't need to look at every part of the detail every time you run it. It's just there from an audit trail standpoint, so you have the confidence that should you need to go deep, you can. If everything looked good as part of a billing run, and this was, say, the end of the month or the end of the quarter, then you would simply just be able to go to the report that you have, take the action that you want, download your fee files, take them over your custodian, Schwab, Fidelity, Pershing, so on, and upload that file for debiting. There's a lot of flexibility in the fee structures themselves, which we'll look at just very briefly, but suffice it to say, we cover pretty much every fee structure that we've seen so far in the market, working with over 250 firms. The one type of fee structure that I know that we don't, and is the exception to that, is performance-based fees. We don't do performance-based fees. Other than that, you can do arrears, advanced with proration. You can do an ending period balance and adjust for flows. You can do an average daily balance. Our recommendation and our best practices, and this has been what we've seen from a compliance standpoint, not just an operational efficiency standpoint, is actually to do monthly in arrears with average daily balances. It's the most streamlined thing. You're never in a situation where you may have to issue a refund or have a complicated flow that you need to account for, and it's less confusing to clients. They're used to seeing average daily balances in other parts of their financial life. So our recommendation from a compliance and operational standpoint, monthly arrears with average daily balance. The system's going to automate it for you. You're able to execute very quickly. Final thing to show folks today is some of just the other navigations and integrations. So we have this insights page here. That's actually where there's a whole slew of insights that are proactively generated. So things like cash concentrations. I can pop over here quickly before we tie off. So cash concentrations, security concentrations, low cash balances, high cash balances, security withdrawals, cash movement, anything that might give you insight into understanding what's going on in your client's portfolio, we want to proactively alert you to. So if a client has a large deposit for some reason that you weren't expecting, getting an insight alert from that so that you're able to take action and call that client and say, hey, I saw that you just deposited 20K in your account. That's great. Wasn't expecting that. Is there a life event going on, right? Giving you actionable stuff that you can go and take to your individual end clients and really spur conversations and also make you more operationally proactive for managing their accounts. All of that then also gets streamed in on the activity sidebar. Excuse me. And then the final thing on the activity sidebar is also our integrations. So just Wealthbox is the one that we have up, for example. You're going to see any notes, activities. You can create notes. You can look at tasks. You can look at upcoming events. You can sync contacts. It's bi-directional, so really rich integration with Wealthbox. We have others as well. We're in the process of launching Redtail. We'd love your feedback if there are other integrations that you'd like to see. Again, just have one here as an example in the demo environment. So I'll pause there. Again, as I said at the outset, wanted to try and keep it to 15 to 20 minutes. Really appreciate everyone's time today. It's just a high-level overview product webinar. For folks that are interested in learning more, that want to know how to sign up for either a one-on-one demo or for the product itself, please don't hesitate to go to bridgeft.com. You can schedule a demo there. That schedule a demo link will give you access to either a one-on-one conversation or a one-on-one demo. There's a lot of stuff that we have from a capability standpoint that we didn't cover today, as today is just that high-level overview product demo, product webinar. I'm really excited to see a lot of names in terms of our attendees today. Really excited to have conversations with some of you folks on a one-on-one basis. Again, my name is Rasheed. I'm the CEO and co-founder. Please feel free to go to the website. You're all welcome to reach out to me. My email is rasheed@bridgeft.com, or to the sales team, sales@bridgeft.com, or just the general team is hello@bridgeft.com. Or again, you can schedule a one-on-one demo or a one-on-one conversation on our website there. Appreciate everyone's time today. Have a great rest of your week and have a great Memorial Day holiday. I look forward to connecting with many of you on a one-on-one basis hereafter. Thank you. Bye-bye.